the good stuff. I love framing, and that's what we're doing here on our tiny house, is starting the framing. I'm putting together a header for one section. Got a 2x6 to make the header the right size, and I put a 1/2 inch sheet of plywood in between. Sandwich them together. Putting it that way makes it so that it fits together and matches up with the thickness of a 2x4. Having two of those standing up straight with the 1/2 inch in between just gives you the perfect size. And you see I built the first section of wall for this side of the tiny house. And now I'm getting ready to basically get things ready for my friend coming over, because I've got my friend Colby, he's coming to help me out. So today, to help out with some framing, I've got a friend Colby here. He hasn't done much framing before, so I'm going to be teaching him how to do some of it, and he's here to learn and I get some help out of it, so it works for both of us.
Win-win.
Yeah. Colby hadn't done any framing before, but he'd used some tools, so he really took a little bit of a refresher course before he was comfortable doing some cutting here, and I was watching him and making sure that he was doing it properly and showing where the safety were and on all the features on my saws that I use. And here I'm kind of showing him how you put together a window. We're actually putting a window over top of this wheel well, and so I've got the header that's going to span the whole wheel well, because can't put much weight on that flange. So I got a header that'll span it, and then we're going to put a window actually over top of that header. So that's what we're putting together right now, is that window. And this is the part of framing that I love. I love putting stuff together, being able to put together an actual wall and see, like, here's doors, here's windows. It takes it from just a floor to actually being a building. I've missed framing. Framing I really enjoyed when I first got a job as a framer out of high school. So it's fun to get back to that and to be able to throw together some walls and be able to teach my friend Colby how to do it. He was picking stuff up really quick. I was letting him to do some cutting, having be a cut guy for me, as well as doing some shooting into the nails, so he can actually get a feel for the whole process. It actually reminds me a lot when I first started framing. I actually worked with my older brother, so he was the one that kind of taught me a lot of, really helped me expand my knowledge of framing. A lot of times I was his cut guy, which meant I got yelled at a lot by my brother, but hey, that's how you learn, right? And here I gave him a bunch of measurements, and he was starting to cut the pieces for the next section of this wall that we're going to build. It's a small section, we're in a lot of pieces. So I gave him a little list while I started laying it out, so we could have the studs in their proper placement, and we'd be able to throw it together and nail it all together as soon as he had the pieces cut. It worked out really well. We were able to move along quickly and get a lot put together. Every time I look at this stack of lumber, I'm kind of amazed that that's actually enough to build a house. Because when I was a framer, I was doing new construction on like apartments and a couple houses and everything too, and we had tons and tons of stacks of lumber that we would go through. And just looking at this pile, that's really all I'm going to need to put together all of the walls for this entire tiny house. I'm over there building a header, and Colby called me over because the gun stopped working. We got a jam, which, it happens fairly often when you're using framing guns. We threw some oil in it, cleared the jam, and then kept working, and the gun worked really well. My compressor was having little problems keeping up, so at times I had to let out air and force the compressor to fill up again, so we had a little more pressure. So you'll see a lot of us hammering in nails because the compressor was not quite keeping up, even with me forcing it to recharge a couple times. But hey, swinging a hammer is always fun too. It may slow us down a little bit, but I really don't mind. I enjoy swinging a hammer. So we're putting together the last window on this wall. There's going to be 3 windows on this entire wall on the side of the tiny house. So Colby got to have a little experience putting together some windows as well as just your standard 2x4 walls. So it seemed like he was enjoying himself, having a lot of fun. I definitely had a lot of fun working with him. I always enjoy teaching people and seeing them pick up new skills and learn quickly, and Colby definitely was. He quickly figured out what needed to be done, and once I showed him how to do like certain cuts, he was able to go do it and was able to get accurate cuts. So that definitely helps. and it all made it go a lot faster. This is the header for that last window. I'm kind of reviewing with him how it all goes together. Because he didn't actually put the other headers together. This is the first one he's actually seen being put together. So I showed him how to put that together. In my work experience, I've gone back and forth from working at a desk to working outside in construction and using my hands and building things. And I just love building things. That's one thing I love about framing, is that in a very short amount of time you go from a pad to a house. You still have to do all the finish work, but it looks awesome. And it's very satisfying. So after we finished these, we stacked them all in the garage, and then we're going to frame the additional walls on here, stand them up in place, and then we'll pull these ones that we built today out and then put them all together, bolt them all to the trailer, and then we'll be good. We'll have an actual house at that point. Thank you for watching. I hope you had as much fun watching us build this as we had fun putting it together. And we also have another channel called Hold the Walnuts, where you can see us preparing for starting a homestead. We're working on gardening and baking and canning and doing a lot of things to be self-sufficient. Thank you, Colby, for your help. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.